tremendous fallout. Toyota now stopping the testing of its robot cars on public roads. This after a woman pedestrian was struck and killed by one of Uber's robot cars Sunday night. Let's take a quick check of Toyota stock, ending the day up 1%. Let's bring in attorney Lisa Garber to break this all down. Okay, what is your reaction to what's going on here with robot cars?
This is such a major setback to the whole robot car, autonomous car movement, which many states were hoping would be on the road, really mainstream by 2020, and now I think we're going to see quite a bit of fallout, which in my opinion is really unfortunate. I think self-driving cars, the technology that supports it, is a huge advancement in terms of getting away from a lot of the human error that we see.
Do you think it's safer?
I think it can be safer.
You know, the police are saying now in Tempe, Arizona, that the pedestrian that was killed may be more to blame for the accident than the vehicle. Here's the police chief there saying, quote, "It's very clear it would have been difficult to avoid this collision in any kind of mode of car based on how she came from the shadows right into the roadway." What do you think?
Well, I think it's a really unfortunate way that they phrased it, and it really should have been phrased more delicately for sure, and it's awful. What happened is awful. The accident is terrible. But at the same time, you have to understand the technology behind these self-driving cars. They're trying to basically predict unpredictable behavior. And we were talking a little bit about issues like, what if a sign is covered in graffiti? What if the speed limit sign is covered in duct tape? How does this impact what the computer is telling the car to do? And what's really troublesome in this example...
It may not be able to read it, right?
May not be able to read it or react. And somebody coming out of the shadows, these are all things that potentially a human may be able to better react to. You have to get through those variables when you're testing these cars, and it's been going on for years that they've been trying to perfect it.
And we don't even know who could be liable. It could be the programmer. If they're sued, it's
the programmer, the person behind
the governor
the
who allowed, the testing of it. All right, let's get to this story. Police in North Carolina now demanding that Google hand over cell phone data for every person who may be in the vicinity of a crime over the past year. It includes murder, sexual battery, arson cases. What's your reaction to that? That sounds like a big privacy issue.
It sounds ridiculous to me, to be honest. And this is not only, an area-based warrant is not a new concept, but this is so boundless. It has no limits. It's a huge violation of privacy. If you think about it, this has actually come up before in different states, and no evidence was found because the criminals that were actually part of the crime didn't have their cell phone with them. If you think about it, if you have a radius, some of these warrants are asking for 14, 15 acres. Think about all of the people that are there, and every smartphone has the capacity to track you, your geolocation. If you're not involved, how does that warrant extend to you? How does the government have probable cause?
Why should anybody give their information over to the police?
That's part of the problem, right? And somebody innocent could easily be implicated just because of where they are, and they happen to be carrying a smartphone.
It could make the city safer, but this is all sorts of constitutional issues, right?
There's definitely a benefit to taking advantage of what technology is there. This is something our forefathers could never have predicted, but there has to be a way to modify that kind of expansiveness, because otherwise it's such a huge privacy threat.
We don't, in Venezuela, I talked about it before, people there said, and they warn us here in the United States, they saw the government coming closer and closer to the back door, and all of a sudden the government's in the house.
Exactly. So and they're in our house, for sure.
Yeah.
We see that.
Lisa Garber, we love having you on. Come back soon.
Thank you so much.